Hello, friends! If you've been tuning into the past several episodes, then you know I've been saying that I didn't really plan on watching The Wild Robot. Obviously, I did end up watching it. You're here, I'm here, and I'm going to talk about it. But it wasn't until I saw the trailer where they said this is the greatest DreamWorks movie ever that I finally got tickets. In my opinion, that is very high praise considering DreamWorks has made some of my favorite animated films. And I know you want to know if it is the greatest DreamWorks movie ever, and I hate to be that person, but if you want to know my thoughts on that, stay tuned. Hey movie lovers, welcome back. It's your movie buddy here, ready to talk about the latest film I watched. Whether you're a longtime subscriber or follower, or you're here with me for the first time, I am thrilled to have you here. If you're looking for detailed plot breakdowns, you won't find them here, but stick around for my spoiler-free thoughts and honest opinions on the latest film I watched in theaters. And if you're here with me on YouTube, you can find timestamps in the video description to jump straight to the sections that you're most interested in. New reviews drop every Friday, so hit that subscribe button on YouTube and follow on Spotify to stay updated. Any TikToks or articles I mention will be linked in the description below, so grab your popcorn, get the family together, hit that subscribe button, hit that follow button, and let's get into today's episode on The Wild Robot. Shipwrecked on a deserted island, a robot named Roz must learn to adapt to her new surroundings, build relationships with the local wildlife, and become the adoptive mother of an orphaned goose. As always, I want to get into the themes of the film, or at least my take on them. The Wild Robot has plenty of complex layers, but I want to narrow it down to two that stood out to me the most. First, let's talk about adapting. Lupita Nyong'o, who voices Roz, mentioned in an interview that this movie is really about adapting to your environment, and I love what she says about that and why we connect to Roz, who is a robot. She says that Roz has to adapt to her environment to achieve her goal. We appreciate the importance of adaptation in order to survive, but also the importance of staying true to yourself. There's also something in here about the contrast and impact technology has on nature. The other complex theme that stood out to me is the idea of belonging and the concept of chosen family. But even deeper than that, motherhood. It's interesting because Rosums always complete their task. So where does programming end and humanity or motherhood begin? That's what makes her character arc so compelling. Now, I don't know how I ended up on Yahoo Entertainment, but I want to quote an article because I think it really sums up how I feel about the movie and what I'm trying to say. I was not expecting the movie to tackle this idea like this. I wasn't expecting the story to thoughtfully explore the burden of self-sacrifice and the complexities of parenthood. Before I get sidetracked, let's quote the article. However, this complex portrayal of parenthood within a beautifully cinematic, engaging world is the real achievement of The Wild Robot. It reveals the intricacies of modern motherhood, the unnatural and thankless sacrifices required in the act of parenting that isn't promised to add up to anything, but maybe, just maybe, can and will. It shows the way neither parent nor child are coded for their roles, but the bonds of family can bridge the parts of the program that are missing. It's pulling at my heartstrings all over again, but this leads to beautiful character development. Despite her struggles, Roz adapts to her environment, and despite her programming to complete her task, she ends up embodying what it truly means to be a mother. Now, I wasn't entirely sure where to add this section, but I know I wanted to add it. While The Wild Robot is a family-friendly film, there are a few themes and moments that might be sensitive for some viewers. The movie explores heavy topics like loneliness, self-discovery, and finding where you truly belong, which could be challenging for anyone who has ever felt out of place or struggled with fitting in. There's also a significant focus on motherhood, parenting, and the bond between mother and child. For those who have experienced loss, strained family dynamics, or are sensitive to themes of adoption and unconventional parenting, these scenes might hit a little harder emotionally. That said, the film handles these topics, in my opinion, with grace and sensitivity, never feeling exploitative. But it's definitely something to be aware of if these themes resonate deeply with you. Moving on to the visuals, The Wild Robot is nothing short of breathtaking. The animation captures the beauty of nature in incredible detail, from towering forests to the wide open meadows, creating a stunning backdrop for Roz's journey. The animators have truly brought Roz to life, making her transformation from a programmed machine into a compassionate mother feel entirely authentic. What really stands out, though, is the film's unique visual style. It's giving hand-drawn illustrations or like a moving painting. I have to say, I don't think I've seen anything like it. Each frame feels like a work of art, and the storybook aesthetic adds to the film's charm. I'll just say that the last time I think I was this speechless over animation and style was probably the Spider-Verse movies. Now, I read online that the hand-painted quality of the animation is inspired by classic Disney films and the works of Hayao Miyazaki. I think that works so well with this movie. That influence gives the wild robot a timeless, almost nostalgic quality, making it feel like an instant classic with visuals that are not just beautiful, but vital to the storytelling. And I have to take a moment to talk about the score by Kris Bowers. Spectacular. The score is always there, and it goes hand in hand with the story and the visuals. It enhances the experience and evokes emotions, but oh my gosh. I'm not gonna spoil it, but there was a really pivotal scene where the story was building and I could feel the emotion rising. But I didn't actually start crying until the music swelled, and suddenly, it hit me like a wave. That visceral reaction, the overwhelming emotion because of the score, isn't something I experience very often, so I had to mention it. The music elevates every moment, making the emotional highs soar and the quiet moments resonate even deeper. Moving on to the performances, the voice acting in this movie is incredible. Each cast member brings their character to life with depth and personality. First up, we have to talk about the wild robot herself, Roz, voiced by the extremely talented Lupita Nyong'o. She starts the film off with that very robotic, monotone, detached voice, but as Roz develops, as she makes connections, adapts, and grows, her voice becomes more emotional and passionate. Lupita captures this transformation and the nuance that comes with it beautifully, again, making her journey from machine to mother feel authentic and compelling. Pedro Pascal as Fink the Fox brings so much humor and charm to the film, but also a surprising vulnerability to the character. Fink comes across as a typical Fox character type, but it's Pedro's performance that hints that there's more to Fink than just a sly and mischievous fox. I especially love his dynamic with Roz. It's filled with moments of humor and unexpected warmth and depth. Well, I thought it was unexpected, honestly, making his journey and his relationships as captivating as Roz's own character development. Kit Connor as Bright Bill, the orphan gosling that Roz adopts, is fantastic. His performance really captures the vibe of a kid just trying to find their place in the world. Bright Bill's relationship with Roz is the heart of the film, showing the ups and downs of any parent-child dynamic. Kit's portrayal balances that child that is close to their mother with the child who's realizing truths and the importance of independence. The supporting roles are just as strong, with Bill Nye as Longneck and Ving Rhames as Thunderbolt. Both actors bring such a great wisdom and presence to the movie and their roles as mentor figures who guide Bright Bill along his path. They don't have a ton of screen time, but they absolutely leave an impression. Catherine O'Hara is absolutely scene-stealing as Pinktail, a motherly opossum whose humor and wit provide levity throughout the film. Her interactions with Roz and the playful antics of her kids are some of the film's funniest moments that really bring balance to the movie. Let's talk about the writing and the story for a minute. The writing in The Wild Robot is a testament to the power of storytelling, striking a perfect balance between humor, heart, and those complex themes that we mentioned earlier. The script is well crafted, allowing moments of lightheartedness to come through while addressing the themes that resonate with audiences of all ages. What really elevates the story is its ensemble cast of unique and well-developed characters. Each one adds something special to the narrative, with humor and personality that appeal to both children and adults alike. Even minor characters with less than 5 minutes of screen time manage to leave a lasting impression. The ability to create rich, memorable characters regardless of their screen time highlights the depth of the writing and strengthens the film's emotional core. Now, let's wrap up with my final thoughts on the movie. After discussing some key elements, the real question remains: is it worth your time? If you cannot tell by now, yes, I think The Wild Robot is absolutely worth your time. DreamWorks honestly has outdone themselves. This is a gem that truly deserves your time. The visuals are breathtaking and the animation, absolutely jaw-dropping. I saw a comment online where somebody said, "This is what happens when you let the animators cook." Every frame is packed with so much style and flair. It's art. But the film isn't just about stunning visuals, it's backed by a fantastic script. Everything feels purposeful, resonating with the universal themes of connection, adaptation, and what it truly means to be alive. There's something here for everyone, whether you're a kid caught up in the excitement of the adventure, or an adult appreciating the heavier themes and the attention to detail. It's not just the writing that shines, but the performances too. Across the board, they capture the emotional depth and subtle nuances, making The Wild Robot a surprisingly mature story wrapped in a family-friendly package. Of course, every movie has its pros and cons, and naturally, people like what they like. We're going to get into a couple of criticisms on the movie, and I'll share my thoughts along the way. I know I skipped the comparison section, but that's because I haven't read the books, but I looked through some one-star reviews of the movie, and a lot of book readers didn't like the movie. I looked through several reviews from 1 to 5 stars, and it seems like a toss-up because there were just as many people who did read the books that really liked the movie. I did see a positive review that stressed The Wild Robot as an adaptation and not a direct copy. According to the University of North Carolina, an adaptation is a written work that has been reconstructed into a new and different form. Adaptation is taking an original piece of literature or a piece of work, creating something new based on that original piece of work, but spun in a different way. With that out of the way, I want to make a note that I wasn't actually going to add this section just because I like this movie so much, but I did want to at least include some criticism. Now, this person read the book. They didn't say if they read all 3, but they read at least the first one. They said that they were surprised at how awful the movie was. They used the word gobsmacked. Yikes. They said the movie was loud, noisy, overstimulating, filled with fights, attacks, chases, and stupid jokes. They added that there are snarky comments about motherhood and that the opossum was a downer. Where do we start? I'm sure you can tell by now that I disagree with a lot of this. Also, I watched the movie in XD at Cinemark, so it was going to be loud, but that's just how I like to watch my movies. What I will say is, as a mother of one doggo, that I was surprised at the comment about motherhood. I know it's touchy because I don't have a human child, and I'm not saying anyone here is wrong. We all have our opinion. But as a former human child, I thought the commentary on motherhood in this movie was very sincere and a powerful message that being a mother is hard and no one does it perfectly, but you learn along the way and you do what you can for your child to succeed. There's a lot there, and I'm going to get into my feelings, but to finish up this comment, I felt like the opossum, Pinktail, added heart and humor throughout. I didn't see her as a downer, but again, that's my opinion. Finally, moving on to the one negative that I totally agree with, and that comes from Kit Laser on TikTok. He says that this is a beautiful film with incredible voice acting, but it becomes something silly in the third act, almost like a superhero movie. There's so much going on in the third act. They wanted this big action finale that I don't think the movie needed, and I did not love it, but a lot of people are going to. I think the movie is at its strongest when we have those quieter emotional moments. I didn't mind the action, it all looked incredible, and that moment in the story was impactful in a different way than those heartfelt moments, but it did feel out of place almost. Like I said, I didn't mind it, but it definitely stands out overall. There are some really good moments here, but I agree, I don't think the movie needed all that action. Have you had the chance to watch The Wild Robot yet? If not, what's holding you back? Is it not your cup of tea, not your usual genre? Do you not like animated movies? I'm going to keep asking you that because if you don't, you are absolutely missing out on some incredible movies. Anyway, I'm really curious to hear your thoughts after today's episode, and if you've already watched it, I want to know your take. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Or did you fall somewhere in between? Share your thoughts, opinions, and reactions in the comments below. I am all ears. Overall, The Wild Robot is a captivating blend of heartwarming storytelling and stunning animation that truly lives up to any hype that you might hear about it. DreamWorks has crafted a story that's not just visually striking, but also emotionally powerful. It balances themes of nature, technology, motherhood, and friendship with near flawless pacing, seamlessly shifting between quiet, reflective moments and heartfelt sequences. The layered storytelling ensures there's something for everyone to enjoy, appealing to audiences of all ages without ever sacrificing or dimming its complex themes. What really makes The Wild Robot stand out is its incredible character development. Every character feels fully realized, making you genuinely care about their journey and the bonds they form along the way. It's one of those rare films that I think can resonate deeply with both kids and adults. And when my honey and I left the theater on Friday, I was telling him what a treat it was to see so many good movies back to back like this, Transformers 1 specifically. If you haven't seen it, you definitely need to watch it, or at least check out my episode if you're on the fence. But The Wild Robot is exactly what I mean by wide audience appeal. Kids love it for the adventure, while adults can catch that deeper meaning. I love it so much. I got sidetracked, but The Wild Robot is one of DreamWorks' best movies in years. You can tell so much thought and care went into crafting this film. It's a story that's thought-provoking, likely to make you cry more than once, and honestly, it's a cinematic experience that shouldn't be missed. Whether you're a fan of animation, adventure, or just a good story, this film is a must-see. Alright, you guys, before we wrap up, I want to share my thoughts on what movies I'll be reviewing next. The next movie I have tickets for is Joker Folie à Deux, and I'm starting to see reviews on TikTok. I'm avoiding spoilers, but I'm managing my expectations after what I've been seeing. I'm still curious about the characters, the singing, as well as the visuals. I feel like I'll be able to find something that I like about it. I'll be watching that one on Friday when this episode is posted. The next movie I have tickets for is... not me realizing right now that I don't actually have a movie for next week. So I guess you guys are going to get another podcast exclusive episode. I did want to see Terrifier 3, but I don't think I'll be able to catch that one in theaters. So the next movie I have tickets for is Smile 2. I will be watching that one on my birthday. I love the first one and I have high hopes for the second one. I already told my honey how the movie should go. Obviously, she curses everyone at a concert or something, right? I mean, how crazy would that be? It's giving Truth or Dare, but better, right? We're getting sidetracked. The last movie I have tickets for is Venom: The Last Dance, and I really like the Venom movies. And I have to say, I did some scholarly Googling, and it seems like if they use him right, Null, who is being played by Andy Serkis, is going to be a really big deal, and the potential for Spider-Man eventually too, and more. I have to say, I do want a solo Spider-Man movie so badly, but the potential is really awesome to think about. We'll see. But anyway, there is a lot that I'm excited about in October, and if there's a movie that you're excited about and you want me to talk about, let me know in the comments below or send me a message on Instagram at A.Rocket.Review. Your suggestions are always welcome, and I love hearing from you. But for now, a huge thank you to everyone who has stuck around with me to the end of the episode. Last week, I didn't post anything on YouTube, but I posted a poll to the community tab on YouTube for which movie I should talk about on the podcast, and it was a close one. Well, it was a close one like a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. Inside Out 2 barely won, so I posted a podcast exclusive episode for that one last week. I'll leave a link to that episode in the description below. Last time we talked on YouTube, I shared my thoughts on Beetlejuice and Transformers 1. If you haven't checked out any of those episodes yet, they are just a click away. If you're watching today's episode on YouTube, you can find the links to those reviews in the top right corner. And for my podcast listeners, all of those episodes are available for you as well. Your feedback is always appreciated, so please share your thoughts on YouTube in the comments below. And if you're listening on the Spotify app, swipe up and let me know what you're thinking. Do you agree with my take? Do you have a different opinion? Do you think The Wild Robot is the best DreamWorks movie ever? Honestly, I don't think it rearranges my favorites. I have a special place in my heart for How to Train Your Dragon and Kung Fu Panda, but I can see this being the greatest DreamWorks movie ever for someone. It's definitely in my top 5. I don't have a top 5. I have a top 3. I love this movie, but I love those ones more. What are your top 3 DreamWorks movies? I haven't actually seen a lot of their movies. Like, I pulled up a list so I can see which movies they've made. I have not seen a lot of them, but we're definitely just sticking to the CGI movies because their 2D animated movies are top tier. I do like Shrek. Home was cute. Turbo was cute. I haven't seen them in a while though. I remember them being cute. Ooh, you know which one I really love? Rise of the Guardians. Okay, we got a top 4. Let me know your top 4 DreamWorks movies in the comments. Let's get the conversation going. If you're enjoying the content, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring that notification bell so you never miss an update. For those who prefer on-the-go listening, maybe while you're in the car, while you're at work, or maybe getting ready for your day, follow me on Spotify so you don't miss out on our podcast exclusive episodes. The next podcast exclusive is going to be on Twisters. And hey, if you're on Instagram, follow me at A.Rocket.Review for sneak peeks and behind the scenes content. And this is where I tell you that all I'm posting really on Instagram is me going to the theater and watching movies at home. But I just somehow found out this month that Spotify Premium includes audiobooks now. So I've been listening to The Ritual actually, because that movie is so good. So I've been listening to that audiobook and I've already added The Wild Robot to my queue. All 3 of them are on Spotify and I absolutely need to listen to this book and I need to know what happens next. Feel free to hop into my DMs with movie suggestions or book suggestions or to just chat about films. Your support honestly means so much to me, and your engagement helps our community grow. Whether it's on YouTube, the podcast, or on Instagram, your presence is greatly appreciated. So until next time, spread positivity, be safe, take care of yourself, and happy movie watching. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.